Today I want to talk about today I want to talk about how I used to think when I was a natalist, or pretty much how I used to think back then when I wanted kids. So trying to let me see if I remember correctly. So like the earliest age I can remember I wanting kids specifically was around like 16 and about 17. Um and anything younger than that. And you know, I used to say to myself, like I want a son, you know. I want a son so I can like buy them things. I want a son so I can have kind of like a free gym partner, like a friend, a gym partner. Um, I want to buy them nice clothes. Uh, I want them to be someone important in life, you know. I mean, I wanted them to be inside one important in life. Back when I was a native, obviously. Um, I wanted them to do good in life, and I mean that was pretty much it, for the most part. And also the fact that, oh, I wonder what me and this person would look like if we produce, dumb shit like that. And then I started to like grow up more, and then I was like, I remember specifically telling people about like the last time I had like these thoughts, people didn't really care, like I remember saying stuff like, "Oh, I can't wait to have a kid so I can buy them nice clothes and buy them all the stuff I never had." And people didn't really seem to give a shit about that. They just it was more like, "Oh, that's cute," crap like that. And I'm like, man, like it just seems like people don't really care when it comes to that. Like when it comes to like a baby, like they only care because the it cater it's cute to them, like it's kind of like, I don't know, interesting to me, when it comes to like baby, like kids and babies and whatnot. Like people don't really care about them, they only care because it's cute, it's pathetic, but yeah, when I used to have those thoughts, that's the type of thoughts I would have. um you know but then I started to get older, and I started to see how repetitive this life is. I started to see how it's just repetitive, it's the same thing over and over, it's just the same thing over and over. And I think back to my childhood, you know. I think back to when I was younger, like in elementary school and middle school, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I'm thinking about having a kid. And I didn't even like middle school or high or elementary school, like not, when I think back, to it, I'm like, man, I didn't even like that shit, going, waking up every day to go to school, you know. Um, I remember too, like I would be on summer break. I remember my parent, I'll be like playing video games all day, like like any other kid. My parents would be like, oh, that's all he does all day, stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, um, I'm a kid. What do you expect me to do? Like, what do you want me to do? Like just dumb stuff like that. People just say anything to you when you were a kid, and and even when I was younger, I always felt uncomfortable, bro. I always felt like horrible. I always like hated, or I was always mistreated or yelled at or screamed at, like. And I don't know. I think that also plays a part in how a person grows up, I guess. I remember getting yelled all the time to wake up early for school, I remember, having to wake up at, like, 5 a.m. to get ready for school, I remember every single day, I'll be talking about, like, video games or something or a TV show, and my parents would be like, "Oh, that's all you talk about," stuff like that, and, I recall all that stuff, and, you know, it 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 makes me, like, that's it reinforces, like, my anti-native views or my anti-children views, because, like, you know, this society is very, the people in this world are very cruel, they're very inconsiderate, they say dumb stuff like that all the time, like, "Oh, that's like," if you're a kid and you talk about, I don't know, toys, they'll be like, "Oh, that's all you talk about, that's all you think about," this and that. I remember one time I was like, I don't know, 9 or 10, and I was, playing video games like usual on my tablet or whatever, and someone comes in and they're like, "Damn, it must be really nice being a kid, you don't have to, like, do anything," and I'm like, Bitch, weren't you," now that I'm older, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, "Bitch, weren't you a kid too?" You know? Done stuff like that, and it will just reinforce, my views, like, if that's how people treat people, that's how people, um, are, like, why bring someone into this world, or if you've been, like, if you ever grew up with, like, people that's, parents that threaten you or hit you in the face all the time, like, I don't know, I just don't understand how, like, people just don't say to themselves, like, "I don't wanna have a kid," And there are days where I say to myself, like, "Huh," like, I just what's the word? Like, where I question, like, being anti-natalist, and I'm like, "Bro, I just," because it's something that's what's the word? Anti-natalism is not promoted, it's not seen as a good thing, people promote, procreation more than anti-natalism, like, fucking earlier, my, my grandma was, like, talking to me about my shoes. She was like, "Oh, clean your shoes. Women look at that." And I'm like, "I don't even care," you know? Or I know probably when I'm older, they're gonna be like, "Oh, why don't you have a girlfriend yet?" They haven't said anything to me like that yet, but I know they're probably gonna be saying things like that to me, and, or when you're older, you're gonna have a wife, and I'm like, I don't even think I want to, you know? Because how things have turned out and how evil people are, I just wanna stay to myself all alone and, so be it, you know? But yeah, guys, I'm gonna end the video. Thanks for listening. I haven't uploaded in a while. I guess Happy New Year if you believe in that. I don't really mess with that stuff. It's just a different number. It's the same thing as always. Life goes on. Just people gotta celebrate something.